Ladies and gentlemen, here we are once again. It's a beautiful morning here in Arizona. And obviously, if you haven't figured out by now, is that we've been doing these live podcasts for a while. And the one thing about this show is that the whole point of it is to bring the strength community together. And what we do here from here is that we want to try and make a community to where people of all shapes and all backgrounds can get together, help each other out. If anybody has any questions, if anybody has any kind of concerns, they can reach out to each other, and then they can pretty much, accomplish any feat they want to do, whether they want to do general fitness or they want to be professionals. But what I enjoy doing is I get the privilege to reach out to longtime friends of mine that have been in the strength industry for many years. And the person I have on today, I've known for about 30 years of my life. She used to be a neighbor down the street. She's been in the fitness game. I know definitely, in elementary school, her freshman year, she went to state for gymnastics and basically has never, ever left this great community of ours. And the best thing about that is that she's an entrepreneur. She has her own business. And most importantly, she has a family and she's a mother of 3. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a very good and close friend of mine, Amanda France. Amanda, welcome to the show. And
Hi.
hey, here we are.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm going to let her go and kind of talk about herself. And basically, for people that are watching and people that are going to see us in the future, just introduce yourself, Amanda. Tell us who you are, what you're about, and how this all started.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, this is a loaded question. So, right now, my name's Amanda France, and good job saying Amanda France. I know a lot of people continue to say Amanda St. John because that's just how they knew me.
I had to practice before, like literally like a week before, so I'm like, I kept running through this, like how am I doing? I'm like, it's not St. John anymore, it's France. So
yes, the country.
Inside humor, right?
All right. Well, I live in Pittsburgh with my husband and my wild and crazy 3 boys. They are 9, 6, and 3. They are my pride and joy, and they definitely keep me busy. So I moved out after my collegiate career. I mean, I was a gymnast, like you said, growing up. I moved out to Pittsburgh and went back to school for a physical therapist assistant. I started coaching gymnastics because that is my passion. And then I ended up getting pregnant, like didn't plan it, obviously, right before I got my first job as a PTA. So I never really built a career outside of college. I kind of just jumped right into motherhood. So I never really built a career. So, yeah, I used to be a gymnastics coach. I used to be a physical therapist assistant. And now I really focus on being the best mom that I can be for my boys, because I think that being a mom is the number one job. I mean, I'm wearing this shirt. And it's the hardest job and the best job that you can have. And I truly believe in raising my boys to be strong, respectable, courageous, freedom-loving, sacrifice-loving, compassionate, grateful boys that will eventually lead this country with integrity and true leadership in whatever they decide to do. And, that I'm digging down and I'm embracing that part of my life right now and just raising them. So what I do right now, since long story short, I mean, I could get into it, but long story short, I had to give up my gymnastics career of coaching, my number one passion. I gave up my physical therapist assistant job because just doing the daily grind of getting my kids to daycare, going to work, coming home, it got to be too much for me. And I couldn't mentally and emotionally handle it with, putting dinner on the table and trying to be healthy, and all the things. So now, my purpose right now, I firmly believe that you don't find your purpose in life, you create it. And in this stage of my life, my purpose is to live and be an example for people, to drastically change my life so that I can help others do the same with theirs. And my purpose is to help the unfulfilled and the emotionally disconnected people that are not happy with their career or job, to teach them how to ignite their God-given unlimited potential that we all have and the influence that we have on others within them. Because some people think that they don't have influence, but as moms, who is the number one person you're influencing? Your kids. So if you can raise them to be the next generation of what this country needs, I mean, that is the job that as moms, that's our job. So, to help people just create a life of purpose and vibrant health and love and knowledge and wealth and deeper connection and contribution. So, to guide them to be the example for their children and to trigger that ripple effect down into the next generation. And that's what I believe my purpose is now, this stage in my life.
No, and that's one of the biggest things about why I want to have you on the show is to show people is that, we all come from different walks of life. And for me personally, the gym has been not only there for me for, physical, but the biggest part is mental. And
Yeah.
Paul and I were talking about having a show on that about how the mental aspect of the gym is basically you could almost, I'm not gonna say stop going to therapy, but you could literally probably get rid of a lot of problems and focus your energies on the gym. And it's just something that allows you to release any kind of stressors or any kind of things you got going
Yes.
on. And it's like, cause everybody kind of balls up and keeps everything so tight. It's like, no, get out there, take an hour out of your day, just do something, get out in the sunshine for God's sakes, because there's just something about working out or fatiguing yourself where you feel kind of like accomplished, I guess is the word looking for. And you said it. There's so many people from different backgrounds and they have different stories. And most of the people that I meet in the gym that I go there or Be Strong, you hear these stories and it's inspirational. Why it is. And I'm not going to sit there and like label anybody, but it's like, you have, like you said, mothers of like 3 or 4 or 5 kids that got back in the gym at the age of like 40. Now they're getting on stage, doing like bodybuilding and stuff like that. You got people that were addicted to a substance. They start going to the gym. Boom, they're done with that addiction. You get guys that have like PTSD or mental health issues, and it's like they get in the gym and it all goes away. Not saying it goes away to the point to where it's gone forever, but it's just a healthy alternative outlet that you can do instead of turning to, unfortunately, with a lot of other people they go to, like alcohol, drugs, or stuff like that. It's just one of those things that there is something about going to the gym and staying healthy and keeping yourself healthy that
I
makes
completely agree.
yeah. It's like if you're physically healthy and doing what you do, your mind's gonna follow as well. It's just the way
Yeah.
it worked for me. But with you, and one of the things that, like I said, is incredible, and I threw it in the bio, is that you're a mother of 3, and I mean you look phenomenal.
Thank you.
The fact, well, I mean you do, and the fact it is because you've been in gymnastics since I've known you, and I remember when Miss Buller she parades you around your freshman year out of nowhere, like the whole halls, and we're like, what is this about? And you could tell you're like, I am not comfortable with this. Didn't know this was coming. Like I just do my thing. It's like, oh, she's going to state. And it's like, oh, did she want this? And it's like, what does it matter? It's like, no, it really does, because she is not all about bragging about herself for anything. But no, but I mean, you've been in gymnastics for a very long time. And I personally want to have you on here because tell me about that, like how you got into that and how like that's affected you, because I know it's still a part of you. It's something that you're never going to let go of.
100% is. Gymnastics has really affected me in a very, very positive way. I know that there has been a negative light on gymnastics in the past recent years. However, honestly, I grew up in one of the best gyms, most caring gyms. We did not experience anything like that at all. Not even like body image was a thing for us. Like we were just comfortable the way we were. It wasn't a big like, oh, you're too big to do this. Like that never happened in our gym. So I did grow up with a very healthy environment, which I am so grateful for, because I can't say that for a lot of other gymnasts. But no, I started gymnastics at 5 years old. My mom, I mean, I was literally doing chin holds at the age of maybe 5, 6 months, like of age, like as a baby. I was walking by 7 months. Like you couldn't hold me back. I was a very, very active baby. And
overachiever over here.
Karma comes back around, and now I have 3 boys who did the same thing for me. And so I get it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, gymnastics was the perfect fit for me. So I joined when I was 5, and I did other sports, but I really committed to gymnastics. I honestly wish I would have committed even more to gymnastics, now that I look back on it. But I just loved it. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with competing. And, there could be a negative aspect of like, you always have to be perfect. You have to look perfect. You have to do perfect. Honestly, for me, I had so much fun. Like, I just had fun being in the air. My body awareness was incredible, and it still is. I could still flip on the trampoline like I haven't missed a day. So just being in the air was my favorite part, and floor and vault was my favorite. And those were the big power events. Bars and beam, not so much, but
No, it's you know, one of those things that it is. I mean, people, when you think of strength sports and you think of that, gymnastics doesn't really get brought up. They think of that more like fitness. And I tell people, I go, for one, because you got CrossFit now, people kind of dabble in it. I said, have you ever got on rings? And they're like, no. I said, go get on rings. I said,
yeah,
that's part of gymnastics. I go, or just balance on one foot and do that like for a long period of time and trying to do all this other stuff. Because I mean, every year the Olympics come on, like I do like watching the gymnastics, and
everyone does.
And it is. It's just something you see, especially when you got characters out there where they're playing like hip hop songs and like they're getting into it, and you could see that. For me, the biggest thing is like team unity, you know, and this is just my opinion, but it's what I firmly believe is that if you have kids, or if you are trying to better yourself, get involved in some kind of team sport, just because it teaches them that you're not just an individual, you part of a team. And gymnastics, I'll use a caveat here for what I did, is similar to wrestling, not at all like conditioning wise or anything like that, but it's a sport where you have a team, but when it's your time to perform, you can't hide. You're on the platform, you're in front of everybody, and you've got to do your best in order to have the team succeed. So it's like you have a job, and your job is to go out there and to basically, you know, give everything you got every single time. You can't hide.
Right.
And it is. I mean, it's entertaining to watch. I mean, these girls and these guys that get up there, it's just like, it's incredible how they still have the coordination to do these flips and do these, you know, spins and all these dynamic maneuvers and whatnot. And you're like, I mean, you're like, Jesus, I wish I could do that. You get jealous. I don't care what anybody says. Deep down, everybody gets jealous of people that can do it. And it's like any professional sports, like 1% of the population actually does this. And then 1% of that population actually goes and does this for a career or stays with it their entire life. And your mom, I mean, she was a gym teacher for, for how long? I mean, I remember when I came back on recruiting duty, I think it was 2011, I reached out to her and I came and did like a, kind of like I took over her classes for a little bit when I was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We did that, yeah. So I mean, was she like who was your like inspiration, I guess, for getting into this or in getting into fitness, I guess?
You're totally right. My mom was a gymnast, and so that she knew exactly where to put me. My dad was more tennis and track.
Right. I couldn't remember.
So I mean, I had athletic parents, but honestly, like, I didn't know of their background very much. I mean, they didn't tell me much other than, oh, I did track, or, oh, I did tennis and gymnastics. I didn't really know of it. And, you know, I was reading over these questions, and your question was, who was your inspiration growing up? And I don't know if you're going to be ready for this, but honestly, I don't know. I don't remember having one person like looking up to, besides, of course, the obvious, the Olympic gymnast, duh. I mean, that's anybody's. But there wasn't one person that I was like, oh my God, I want to be like them, or like, and I honestly think that kind of hindered me in my growth, and like why it kind of took me so long to get where I am, like, I guess, self-development wise now, because I didn't really have someone I looked up to with so much like, you know, like I want to be like them. Of course, my coach at Great Lakes Gymnastics, where I was raised, Joe Gura, he was 1000% a huge mentor, you know, in my life. But I mean, it wasn't like, oh, I want to do what he does, you know? So I never had like that. I want to be them. I want to do what they're doing. So I never had that in my life, except for, you know, Olympic gymnast Dominique Mucciano, who now she has a gym in Ohio.
Does she really?
And I've actually, yeah. And this past summer, I went back to her gym and choreographed some floor routines for her kids. That's kind of a full circle moment there.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But you really did kind of carve out your own path, you know, like just watching you, how you go into, because it is something like, you know, people never think about. At least maybe I'm naive, but for me, it's like, you never really think about, like how you just said, you can come full circle with a career in gymnastics and how it's going to take you to be not only a coach and teacher, but you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business where again, you try to bring fitness into like people's lives that maybe never thought they could do stuff before. You want to tell us
Yes.
about your business a little bit?
Yeah. So honestly, my health and wellness business is it's a network marketing direct sales company. It's Arbonne. It's a health and wellness community. We've been around for 42 years. And it's really just a company where we help people flourish in sustainable ways. So we really do focus on nutrition and non-toxic products. So skincare, makeup, body products, and like cleaner nutritional products. So the fitness, where my fitness comes is just my pure love for fitness. And again, like the passion that I get to just de-stress. Like we were talking about, like you were talking about earlier, is
Yeah.
I love to just get people into the gym just for them to like feel what I feel. Because when you leave the gym and you give it all that you got, I mean, it is the best feeling. Like every time you walk out that door and you're like, I gave it all that I have. And I want other people to feel that too. So
It's a natural high, 100%
it
natural
is.
high.
It really is. So that's why like I love fitness so much. And from the time when I first got pregnant, I lost fitness because I was working, I was in school. I just didn't have time to work out. I didn't go to a gym. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, these little boutique gyms are like my thing because you walk in there as a busy mom, you walk in there and you're like, I don't have to think. I just do what they say and I give it all that I got and I walk out and I'm good to go. So I can't go into a big box gym and be like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this today because that's just too much thinking for me right now. Like I can't think of that. So I don't want to. Um, so yeah, like I just love to be able to spread health and wellness through my business, non-toxic products, because I mean, we literally live in a toxic world. Everything, what we eat, what we drink, what we put on our skin, into our bodies, on our bodies, what we breathe. I mean, Wi-Fi, EMF, like everything is toxic. And so like, I am just such a big fan of like detoxing all of it and just getting back to like finding yourself in a world that is so chaotic and crazy. So this business really helps me, and I love to help anyone who wants to be on the same journey as me.
No, and that's actually a great point you brought up about how there are things out there that you got to watch what you're doing because, you know, if people haven't known by now, is that I had a stroke January 3rd. And it was an eye opener. And you talk about doing stuff, you know, the right way for about, I mean, for about 4 years, I've been, people have seen it, you know, and they know what I've been doing because I posted it, where I've been trying to get ready for competitions and doing a healthy lifestyle. And even doing a healthy lifestyle, stuff can happen. And now, kind of like after talking to doctors and talking to you know, fitness experts, stuff like that, that they told me to go see it, whatnot. I'm looking at avenues that I could still do what I want to do, but there's certain things now that I'm incorporating in my diet and when I'm putting in my body, and that because you just don't know how your body reacts to certain things. And you know, and the thing about it, it's like people have their opinions on, oh, well, that's ridiculous, or that's just a myth. It's like, no, it's a real thing. There are certain aspects of people's lives that may not work for others and some that work very well. It just depends on what your body's made of. And you don't know until, unfortunately, something happens so you know what's going
Right.
on. And I mean, and you're vegan, correct? I mean,
Yes.
now you weren't
Yeah.
always vegan, right?
No.
No, and no, and believe me, I know there's been like the whole thing where you can't be in the fitness and you can't do this because of veganism and all that stuff. It's like, look, there are certain things you can and can't do, whether it's you're eating, you know, an omnivore, like, or eating just straight vegan products, but it does have a output on you. Where I tell you right now is that I've been trying a few vegan products where it comes to like egg noodles, and not egg noodles, but like I think it's like some sort of sweet potato noodle. And it says like vegan on there, and I've actually enjoyed some of these foods that have it, and I don't have that bloatiness or have that kind of like after effect where sometimes we're, you know, for us powerlifters, rice, beef, you know, vegetables, let's go, and you just sometimes get like, you know, you
Yes,
get that,
very heavy.
yeah, you get that very heavy feeling where eating this, when I'm counting my calories, that I'm still putting on the size I want and still losing a little bit of fat in the meantime. And it just, I don't know, it just makes you feel different. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not a vegan by no means, but there's nothing wrong with taking things here and there and basically implement that in your diet. One, so you don't get burnt out of your diet. And two, it just gives you more knowledge to pass on, because that's what I try to do as a person that is in the strength community, is you try to inspire others, and especially inspire, like the younger people that are pretty much gonna be the future of our profession, our sports that we do. And veganism and the vegetarian, all that stuff is a part of the culture. And I took classes on that in college, and it opened my eyes up to a lot of things. And I just try to tell people, say, look, just be open to it. Just try it.
Yes, absolutely.
And saying that, yeah, I'll go ahead and say it, but I was going to ask you, like, when did you kind of like switch over? Because you weren't always.
Right. And honestly, my nutrition was like piss poor when I was growing up. As a gymnast, I'm grateful I had no injuries, like major injuries. But it was so bad. I would eat pizza, pasta, ramen noodle was like a staple. No vegetables at all growing up, barely any meat, fast food, like you name it. That was my diet, because I would look at a food, and I honestly think I had a complex. Like I had a psychological food disorder, because I would look at a food like steak and be like, no, I'm good. Like I will not like that. But what you were saying about like getting more into nutrition because of your stroke, I'm all about preventative care. And that's why I love my business so much, because I'm like, you don't want to wait until the last minute. You don't want to wait until something happens to start taking care of your body, whether it be fitness or nutrition. So that's why like I am so passionate about what I do, because I mean, doctors are it's sick care. They're just taking care of you because you got sick. I don't want to see a doctor. I want to be on the other side in preventative care. So when I went vegan, I mean, okay, this is a little bit of a long story. So I got pregnant in 2013 with my first baby. And that is when I started taking my nutrition a lot more seriously, because again, I was still eating heavy carbs, barely any meat, no vegetables, all the way up and through college. Like my friends would get me to eat a salad, and I'd take like a bite and be like, okay, I'm good. That's all I need. But then, so when I found out I was pregnant with my baby, I'm like, okay, I'm not eating for me anymore. I'm eating for this baby. So that's when I started taking nutrition really seriously, and I like kind of buckled down a little bit more. However, my first pregnancy was like god awful. I was completely like, I really gained a lot of weight. I had like stage 4 pitting edema in my like ankles and feet every night. Oh my God, it was so terrible. I was exhausted. And then so like my second baby came around, and I cleaned up my nutrition even more. I started incorporating more fruits and vegetables. I mean, I actually always have been good with fruits, but veggies was like always my thing to like, I really need to eat more veggies. So I started eating cleaner that way. And then my second pregnancy was better. I was working 2 jobs. And like I said before, I did not have a workout schedule or a plan or a gym, because I stopped working out in like 2013 with my kid. I was working 2 jobs, going to school. So working out, I lost it. I lost that passion. So after my second baby, I wouldn't say that I had postpartum depression, but I knew in my core that I needed an outlet, because I had 2 babies. One was super colicky, and I was still working. So I'm like, I need to go work out. I need to run. I need to like get out of this house and go work out. And that's when I found the first gym that I fell in love with, which was Burn Boot Camp. It's mainly for women. But it was basically like, it saved me mentally, physically. It saved me. I got back in shape, and I'm like, I will never take fitness for granted again, because so then my third pregnancy rolls around, and right before my third pregnancy, July 1st, 2018, I watched the documentary, What the Health. So if you have not seen that one yet, go watch it. That is what made me turn vegan. I went vegan the very next day. So July 1st, boom, vegan, quote unquote, cold turkey, and no meat, no dairy. The cheese was the hardest. Cheese was the hardest to get rid of.
Listen, that is one of the things where, because dairy, because I actually believe I've developed like a lactose intolerance thing as I've grown up, because things change. So I've cut that out. I'm telling you, it's the worst, because I'll sit there and just like, I can go to the store now and literally just get a block of cheese, and I could eat that. And oh my God, do I miss it.
And that's what I used to do. We used to get blocks of cheese, and I would just eat the blocks of cheese. Like, that I was addicted, and you really are addicted to dairy, or like at least cheese. Like cheese
Yeah.
is addicting. And so, and I don't know about you, but like I really felt like my inflammation went down after you give up dairy.
Yes.
So I just went vegan, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. And I mean, I didn't need a doctor. I didn't like need a program. I literally just started following vegan Instagrams and podcasts, and I just self taught myself how to go vegan, what kind of vitamins I needed to supplement with. And I'm thankful for the company of Arbonne. That's actually when I decided to join Arbonne, because it was a vegan company that I could use all vegan products all over my body, you know, like lotion, shampoos, skincare, makeup, like everything's vegan. So I'm like, perfect, this matches. And then all the nutritional items. And then the nutrition items have what vegans need. Like you don't have to be vegan to use Arbonne, but it has what you need to supplement, you know, some things if you're missing things. However, I have found that you don't necessarily need to supplement if you're eating correctly, but many people don't eat perfectly. So the one things that I would supplement with is like an omega-3 DHA, like that's like a vegan one with algae, because a lot of people get their omegas from fish oil. But where do the fish oil get their omegas from is the algae. So it's like, it blows my mind. I'm like, why eat the middleman? Why eat the middleman of meat if I could just get what I need from plants? Because the animals eat plants. So it just blows my mind. And once I like watch that documentary, I'm like, okay, this all makes sense. I'm going to do this. And I just feel so much better. And I told you I wasn't a good meat eater anyways. Like just meat wasn't my thing. I've always grown up, looked at meat and I'm like, ew, no, pork, like anything. I looked at it, I'm like, no. So it was always in me to like not like meat. Very strange that kind of came around full circle too. So anyways, I got pregnant with my third baby, was vegan. And I'm like, I'm not going to start eating meat just because I'm pregnant with my third baby. So I found a gym that I absolutely loved. And I worked out until I was 34 weeks. I was vegan. I had the best pregnancy at all, like ever with my third pregnancy, being vegan, working out all the way up until 34 weeks, best pregnancy, and just really honing in on my nutrition. So honestly, like each pregnancy has taught me something new about myself and about nutrition, and like how important it is to just stop giving into the bull crap that we are fed, you know, and really focus on whole foods. So
what's because you always hear people try, they, you know, anything, they try something and then they understand like, oh, it's just kind of hard. If somebody wants to try vegan, or they want to change up their diet a little bit, what's your personal and best, I guess, advice you can give somebody, like how to do it correctly, or at least how to do it for you? Because honestly, you went cold turkey. Now that works for maybe 10% of people that try to do anything. Because like I said, me, I'd be sitting there and I'm like, I'm going to the store. And then I get it, I eat it, and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you're disgusting. Like you're like, you know, it's like your own worst enemy. But what's some good advice you think that you could maybe tell people that want to try it, but are kind of either scared or really don't know where to start or how to get
if
into
you're
it
like,
properly?
if you're busy and you don't know where to start and you really want some guidance, I 1000% suggest a program of Veguary. I think it comes out like every January 1st. That program like tries to get new people to start going vegan like through the new year. So that was like a really good program. I've never done it, but I've heard that one was really good. My friend who I met at the gym at Burn Boot Camp here in Pittsburgh, she has her own vegan program. So I could suggest that to people. There is programs all over the place. There's Instagram, there's, you know, podcasts you could listen to just to make sure that you're getting everything you need. And I would totally suggest not going for the processed foods that say vegan on them. Just because they're vegan does not mean they're healthy. Really, they don't. And like, there's a ton of chemicals in it. Like even like vegan cheese. Like I started to do vegan cheese when I went vegan, and then I just got rid of all cheese in general because I don't need it to like flavor up my stuff. I use seasonings. You use seasonings to make it better. So it's really a learning process, and a lot of people I don't know, I guess they don't really feel that great because maybe they're fueling their body with the processed vegan foods instead of whole foods. And not that I count my calories or my macros, but you really do need a really great balance of, proteins, carbs, and healthy fats every single meal. So you don't want to skip out on that. And again, I don't count my macros, but at least I try to estimate them, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And, that's like one of the things I've learned throughout the years where when I was training we're talking about when I was in the Marines or when I was training even in high school, it's like everybody pushes, oh, protein, 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 protein. This was going to make it bigger. And then once I got out here and started learning from professionals and they've been on stages, they've been in competitions, it's like, oh, that is really only 30% of what you need. You actually need more carbs than anything because that's what your body's going to fuel, at least for that aspect of what I train for.
What you train for, right?
Right, and that's the thing is that I'm trying to explain to everybody on here that are watching or can see the future is that it's what you train for. We're not pushing veganism on anybody. We're not pushing omnivore eating or pushing any kind of style. It's just that you train for a specific thing. You have to diet for a specific thing. It has to go hand in hand. It's all about what you want. And taking those classes, like I said, at the college about nutrition, it opened my eyes up. And actually, that's when I realized that I could start eating more food because I think I was up to, I think 4,200 calories a day, and I was still losing weight. And you say these things to people, they're like, well, how is that possible? It's like, because it's what the output is that you're going to and you're doing at the gym. Plus what you said before. Not saying that you shouldn't buy supplements because sometimes you need it for what you're trying to do, but you cannot get any better sustenance or any kind of vitamins in your body than having real food. Real food's the key. You shouldn't just cut out a meal to use like a protein bar. That's ridiculous. No, eat an actual meal. If you're still a little bit hungry or you're still a little bit famished, like at night or something like that, drink that shake and have a little bit more inside. That's going to help you perform better. That's what that's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a supplement to where it takes away from the meal.
Right.
And the biggest thing, what you said is vegetables. If you look at vegetables and what their minerals are and what they're made of, you're right. They are 100%. It is where you're getting a lot of that stuff that you're lacking. And you need it not only for digestion, but just for trying to better yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
And the one thing I want to kind of carry back onto, so you did gymnastics all through high school and you went to state. How many times did you go to state in high school?
I went all 4 years on different things. So like a couple of years I did all around. And then I think my freshman and sophomore year, I only went to state for like one or two events. So I made all around, I believe, junior and senior year.
What was your favorite event that you like doing?
Floor exercise, my favorite.
Okay.
Still is.
Do you have a specific song you still kind of go back to? Do you still remember some of those routines? You're like, hey, this is the first one I did, or this is what took me to state, and you show it to people. But you still do that?
Yeah. Honestly, I had the same floor routine from high school all the way up until my junior year of college. So I kept that floor routine because I just loved it. I loved the music. It was just me. And then my senior year, I choreographed my own floor routine and then kind of picked out my own music. And I had someone else put it together for me. And that kind of, I transitioned there. So
you got those posted on Instagram or somewhere?
I have them on my Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Long time ago. Yes. Yeah. I could send it to you for sure.
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
My senior year of college, I did a double layout, which I was the first person at Kent State to compete successfully the double layout at Kent State. And that was the only one I landed in competition. So I was so proud of myself. I tried it again, but I, landed on my feet and put my hand down. But if you put your hand down on the floor, that counts as a fall. So.
Right. So I was going to roll into, now you said a few things in here. You said, you said, I think you had your second kid when you were going to school. So that's what I was going to ask you. So you went to Kent State. Now you did 4 years at Kent State, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
What did you major in, or what was your experience at Kent? And how did you stay up with the fitness when you went to college compared to when you were in high school?
Okay. Well, let's go back to freshman year where I never lifted weights until college. And so when I started lifting weights, and then I told you my nutrition was terrible. I was eating carbs, pizza, pastas. I blew up. I blew
Really?
up when I started. Oh yeah, like 130 pounds. Yes. I have a
You?
reel. Oh God, yeah.
Listen,
I put out a reel
listen, ladies and
and it
gentlemen,
shows those pictures.
I'm not saying that like 130 pounds is a lot. You have to understand, she's like 5 foot,
5'1".
yeah, 5'1". So itty bitty. So just me knowing her my whole life, like I'd never seen her at like that weight. So I would love to see that picture. I can only imagine because we
You got
had
to go check out the reel I made.
oh, okay, I'll check it out.
Yes, because you'll be like, whoa. Yeah. So I went to college. I started lifting weights. Like I loved it. I fell in love with it. But then when I packed on all that weight, I couldn't tumble the way that I used to because I gained so much weight. So my freshman and sophomore year was really hard for me in gymnastics, and I almost quit because it was so hard. Um, and it all comes back to nutrition. Like it was terrible. Oh, not to mention how much beer I was drinking on the weekends. So
Hey,
there's
hey,
that.
you're honest. It is what it is.
Not during competition season, but before.
Of course not.
But then junior and senior year is really where I got my groove back, and I never stopped growing in gymnastics and learning new skills. Most people who go to college, they kind of plateau with their skill level and they never, get better in their skill level. I just kept growing. Like I was not topped out. I kept going, and I wanted to do more skills. So I did. And then by my senior year, I was ready to compete that double layout, and I ended up competing it, landed it one time. I guess that was good enough for me because I didn't land it again. But fitness, like we worked out, we did swimming, we did lifting weights, we did, oh my God, we ran 300s. Those were god awful. Like as a gymnast, your endurance is not good at all, like not good. So 300s
Really?
knocked me out. We would do 300s, and then I think we would have like a 1 to 2 minute break in between, and then we'd have to do it again. That second one, I couldn't even like finish. I would have asthma attacks. It was so bad. Now, I'm not kidding. Now I probably could do it like 300s in a row. My endurance is so good. My fitness level is so much better. My nutrition is better. Like, I bet you I could compete gymnastics today. That's how confident I feel and strong I feel now with my fitness level. But yeah, it all goes back to nutrition. And I mean, I did not do anything outside of gymnastics that wasn't already programmed into it, during my collegiate career. And then so after that, it was just kind of a free for all. Where do you want to work out? Like box gym, go do your own thing. So then that's where I had my 2 kids, and then I finally found a boutique gym where you go in and it's a group fitness class where one instructor is teaching the whole class, but you push yourself individually on how hard you want to work. So that is my jam right now because, again, like I told you, I don't want to think. I don't want to think about what I'm doing. I just want to go in, work my butt off, and get out.
Well,
So,
that's surprising me. You said that at least in your experience that you didn't really have the endurance or the stamina for gymnastics. Where
oh,
you look at these men and women on the floors, you're like you have to have stamina. Just amount of like because it's like a dynamic movement. All of a sudden, it's like you go from 0 to 100 in the form of like literally like a race car, like a drag car. It's like boom, you hit it. It's like holy crap.
yes,
And
yes.
you would think like if you did it over and over again for training, your endurance would get better. But with that, so now you said that it wasn't until your junior year where you kind of dialed it in. Now, because of your post gymnastics hobbies, you were saying, is when you started lifting the weights and started getting the strength training. Where was that on the level once you dialed it in to competitiveness? Where did you think it helped you out? Did it hinder you? Was it things you had to watch, or is it something that you kind of, I guess, have to be wary of when you're still trying to be flexible and still trying to be spry, as they would say, for your sport? Like, how does that play in a factor?
So I think when I was in college, I mean, we just did what we were told, and we would go to our strength coach and he would have our strength conditioning. I think it was like more of his job to say, okay, you guys are gymnasts, you need power, you need agility, you need like this kind of strength work rather than just heavy lifting. Which I don't know what other sport needs like heavy lifting, maybe football, like power.
Right.
Gymnast is like quick. So we need fast, quick, muscle twitching like activities. Do I think, looking back, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, looking back at our training at Kent State, I don't think it was the best for our gymnastics sport. I think that probably now it's a whole lot better because there's so much more knowledge that, the strength coaches have there now. But I don't think that we were training specifically for our sport. Because even now, when I go to the gym that I used to coach at here, I mean, they are training agility and like ladder drills and just like tiny little movements that just help your gymnastic shapes. Because you're really focusing on like gymnastic shapes, and it's very tiny movements and stuff that you need to train rather than bigger, powerful movements, I guess you would say. Gymnastics is a hard one to train for.
No, it is, and that's why I wanted to ask you, because you've lived that lifestyle your whole life, and when you watch it, because you'll see these athletes, and I'll say specifically the women, it's they have some of them on there that are very good. They have these, like, you can tell it's just a muscular, like, thick kind of lower body, because that's where their power is coming from. They get the springs and get that, and it's just like you have to train to get that, and that's why I was wondering, like, do you guys utilize like a lot of like lower body exercise, or is it more of kind of like a I guess overall body training that you guys have
overall.
Overall,
I would say overall. Yep. Yeah, when we were in college.
You were in Cal, okay. So moving forward, so you pretty much made the switch to when you graduated college, right?
Yes.
Now you didn't have, did you have a son when you were in college, or was it when you got after?
No. So I'm sorry if that confused you. I went to Kent State 4 years there. I graduated with a psychology degree. Didn't do anything with my psychology degree, and then I went back to school for physical therapist assistant. And so I went back to school for 2 more years, and that's when I got pregnant at the end of that education. And then I, had my baby, and I was like, okay, part-time job it is. So
gotcha. Yeah, because you said it earlier, I was like, wait a minute, did you have a kid while you're in college? I was like, that'd be another aspect.
That would be really hard.
I was gonna say, how'd you stay so fit going to college, doing that, and having a kid? I was like, wow, that's really impressive. Not saying it's not impressive, but it kind of threw me off for a second. But as you were coming up, obviously you said that nutrition's the biggest key and the biggest thing you've done. What's some other things that you've learned throughout the years to where, like, because we all have it, like I said, you got to eat all the protein more than anything, and you realize, well, that's garbage if you're trying to be in a competition level. So what are the mythos that you think you've learned on a personal level in your sport that you heard you had to do, that you found were false, and things that you told were false, but you realize, oh no, that's something that actually does work?
Okay. Nutrition wise was really hard because, again, like in college, we didn't even have a direction to go in nutrition. Like, we didn't have a nutritionist. We didn't have someone telling us what to eat. I know that schools now, at like really good gymnastic schools, they probably have you on a strict nutrition diet,
Right.
But we didn't. Ours is like a free for all. So I guess as a gymnast, I thought I was athletic, fit, and healthy, that I could eat whatever I want, drink whatever I want, and still look good. And if I was still looking good, I was okay. And that obviously is not the case because I could not tumble. I, did not have the stamina that I needed. Alcohol certainly has so much more effects on your body than you think it does, especially in college when you're competing. And so I would say that, because my mindset is like, oh, I'm an athlete. I worked out twice today. I could eat whatever I want. That's what I literally told myself. And that is how I got to be 130 pounds. So that would be myth number 1. And then just learning, I don't know, just being open to learning about new foods. Honestly, the number one thing that I could tell anyone is to eat more whole foods, organic whole foods, over anything else. And I keep it so simple now. I'm literally like sweet potato and have like chickpeas for my protein and some sort of sauce on top of it with some green veggies. Like, literally, I keep it that simple. My meals are that simple. And I'm happy with them, and they taste good to me. So, I don't know. I would just say keep things simple rather than make it so complex. Because it is complex, but when you like break it down, Whole Foods is where it's at, is what I've learned. And then veganism, like when I turned vegan and then really honed in on my nutrition and my fitness level, my endurance went up. And that is one pro of going vegan is your endurance gets better, which is crazy because I didn't think it was going to be possible. But like I said, I mean, I could run like a solid 5, 6 miles now, kind of no problem. And like back in the day, 1 mile would be like taking me out.
I don't mean to laugh. When somebody says that now, it's just like, I'm not trying to say, oh, this is what I did, but no, it's when we were in infantry. I mean, 6 miles are average a day, and I laugh, and not that I don't discredit people when you see those like, oh, I like 21.5, like
Yeah.
mile or sticker on the back of a car. I go, that was literally a weekly thing for us. I mean, and you don't think about that, but then I'm looking at now where well, we're going to age ourselves here where I'm just turned 38 and I'm like, oh, the knees, like you start like, running on that cement for all those times probably wasn't the best way to get the endurance up, which is what, you were told. Cause back then, obviously what you said earlier in the program was the knowledge now is far surpassing way better than what it was when we were growing up. And that's just the way it comes with time. You get science involved, they learn things. And man, there's things that I found out when I was 36 that I wish I would have known when I was 18, because it would have probably prolonged my career in strength sports, made me a better athlete, and just all around physically and mentally just made me better. And that's what the thing is with learning, but that's why we have shows like this, and that's why we have people come on here with their personal opinions to tell people what they learned. And just have, like you said, open mind's the key to, I think, anything fitness wise. You got to open mind. Don't knock it before you try it. If you try it and it doesn't work, so be it. It's not gonna hurt you because you're working out.
Right.
And speaking about working out, so you told us kind of about your conditioning and your programming from high school to college. So now where you're at right now in your life and how you've converted to veganism and the things you've pretty much learned throughout the years. What is your routine now? Like how does your day start to pretty much how's your day end for like pretty much your
It's a really good question. So, as you know, like as an entrepreneur, you have to feed your mind with so much because entrepreneurship is just straight up self development. And so I honestly wake up in the morning and I have a personal vision of my life of where I want it to be eventually. So I read that every single day. I read my affirmations every single day, my purpose that I've created. I read that every day. And then I also get into self development books, podcasts. Like I said, I'm always listening or learning something. So it's either on nutrition or self development. Like I'm always listening to something. And then now, thank God, my kids are back in school because summertime is a little crazy and there's like no set schedule. Kids are back in school, so I think that I could kind of get into a more of a routine. And then I am a stay-at-home mom, so I do all the stay-at-home mom things. And then I hit the gym when I can. And the gym that I go to now is called VoloFit. It's actually the Tough Mudders brand of their like boutique gym. So their gym that they're franchising across the country, that's their gym. I'm obsessed. It's between like CrossFit. It's a HIIT workout every single time. So it's strength and cardio. Every single time I walk out of that gym sweating, giving it all that I have. And I can do a CrossFit workout, no problem, because I train at Volo Fitness, which is amazing. And then I just take care of the kids. I mean, I take care of the kids and I really do try to put something on the table like every night that is healthy for everybody. And not everybody's vegan in my house. I'm the only vegan. I tried to make my whole family go vegan. It did not work, especially my husband. He's 6'6". And my husband's an entrepreneur too. He runs his own ironworking business and now he has another business. So like I am just basically living in his world. Like, he's doing his thing. I'm trying to do my thing, but being a housewife and a mom at the same time. So, and I want to feed my kids and my husband nutritious food. So I will try my best to put the healthiest meals on the tables every single night because that's really what matters. Plus I don't want him to get overweight. So,
and your husband was an athlete too in college, wasn't he? Yeah,
Yeah,
was it
he played
basketball?
basketball.
Basketball. That's right. Yeah, well,
Yep.
at 6, it obviously makes sense.
Yep.
Now, actually, I'll ask you this question. Now, I do ask everybody this personal question. It just because I think it is important to, if you're going to try and be a either competitive athlete or do a profession in fitness, is what are some of the things that, for those that have families or have a relationship, that you have to take consideration, like balancing your home life and your professional and fitness, or going to the gym. Like, what are some of the things that work for you, or how do you guys make it work?
Okay, so that's a really good question because that is something that I struggled with a lot. And I told you my second pregnancy, I don't think I had postpartum depression, but I knew I needed to work out and I had to fight like hard to be like, I need to go to this gym. And the boutique gyms are not cheap. Like you're paying over $100 a month to go to this
Right.
gym. And then half the time you can't even make it there because you have a schedule. Your kids have a schedule. Your kids have sports. So, honestly, giving yourself grace of when you can't get to the gym, when you can't eat perfectly, you've got to give yourself grace and you can't be so hard on yourself because I was so hard on myself that I missed the gym or, you know, I wouldn't eat at times because I didn't want to eat bad things over healthy things. Um, so giving yourself grace as a mom is kind of like the number one thing you need to do. But then you do have to prioritize healthy living. You know, your mental health, for me, mental health is like working out, and that's my stress reliever. So getting in gym time or even a run, just a run in the sun is like my favorite thing to do. And then nutrition is, like I said, keeping it simple. Like it doesn't have to be overcomplicated, just keep it simple. And that's kind of how I look at it and how we survive, I guess.
Now, do you offer a personal coaching on top of that? Because if you're balancing relationship on top of that, then you got to write planning, nutrition, and schedules for your clients if you are doing that as well.
We do in my business of Arbonne, we have a 30 days of healthy living program that I walk people through. And it is basically clean eating, using our supplements to fuel your body and like to supplement the things that you're missing. And then you either continue the 30 days of healthy living or you just take what you've learned on that program and run with it. So whether you use the supplements or not, it doesn't matter. It's the way that it's the healthy habits that you've learned along the way or the substitutes. So like you said, like instead of eating a whole grain pasta or a gluten pasta, you're eating a red lentil pasta. That is like just substituting your meals, like to make them be the same, but you're just using better ingredients, if that makes sense. So we teach a lot of that.
No, that's actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you, that because like I said, the biggest thing you can put in your body is natural food, and it all depends on what kind of natural food it is. Like you say noodles, well, guess what? There's 1,000 different noodles you can buy. There's some
Right.
that's going to help you, and there's some things that you think are going to work for you, but they have no nutritional value whatsoever.
Right.
And people
Or
don't.
gluten.
Yeah,
Gluten's a
I mean
big
that's the
thing
thing.
too. Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting, and just as as we grow older, we get wiser. We still keep an open mind. It's just that you really do learn as you go on that there's things that do work and things that you've been told that are absolutely trash. It's
Yes.
just the way it is. Now, what are some of the mistakes? I think you kind of hit on a little bit because you talked about how you made a few wrong choices in college, but what are some mistakes you've made along the way that you wouldn't want others to make, for your fitness and for getting into your fitness?
Okay, here's a good one. Learning how to manage your stress because as a mom, you're going to be stressed out no matter what. And this is something that I want to I mean, I think I've mastered nutrition. I've mastered my fitness, but I haven't mastered stress relief, like
Okay.
internal stress. So, like meditating or even just like going for a walk, alone time. Moms don't get alone time. So, I think that if you can find a way to manage your stress or to like really give yourself time to figure out what it is that helps you de stress, is worth it as a new mom, as any mom. um, Especially because even new moms have a really hard time dealing with it because they just, they're constantly with the crying baby. And sometimes the husband can't handle the crying baby as well as the mom can. And then the mom doesn't have an outlet, or a community of women to help you get through that time. So you definitely need community. Community is so big as a mom. And then the fitness community as moms is even better because those are the people that are on the same path as you as they want health. They want to better their health, their bodies, and be a good example for their children, showing them that they do work out. So I think having community and having a way to have an outlet for stress is the two things I would recommend. Anybody.
No, I couldn't agree more. That's like you said, it's anybody, not just moms.
Mm-hmm.
If you surround yourself and a lot of people I've found that give the inspiration and just give you positive are the people in the gyms. Like I said, I always say it's a strength family because that's what we've made. With Be Strong Powerhouse and the other gyms, Unbroken Strength, Freak Animal Fitness, American Raw, like all these gyms that I've been to and just got to know these people. And of course the Power Sauce up in Flagstaff. It's like, they're called competitions, or you can say whatever you want, but they're really meets because it's like you just get together with these people, and like you said, you're all doing the same style of training, you're all trying to accomplish the same goals, and when you surround yourself with those people, it's just going to inspire you to do better. It's going to challenge you to do better because you don't want to be the weakest link in the chain for that group that you're with. And if you could just find a group that really connects with you and just clicks, just stay with it and stay with them because they really are going to help you out, not only physically, but mentally, like with stress and all that, because you can go there. We yuck it up every once in a while. It's like you have like 5 minutes when somebody walks in the door, you fist pound them and BS. And then we all do our training where nobody talks to anybody. And then when we're all done, it's like, so anyway, what are you doing today? It's just like the atmosphere where it's like, when we're in it to go, but we're all there, like, help each other and motivate each other. And it is. And I tell people all the time, and Paul said it too. And when I talked to Troy the other day, you don't know how far you can push yourself until you do a competition. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should do competition, but it's like, if you really want to just interject yourself into a situation where it's like, oh, this is amazing. Cause you get that instant where this is your moment. You train for this. You're on the platform. All eyes are on you. Now, I always get tunnel vision when I'm doing my routine or my workout or when I was wrestling and whatnot, but there's that like maybe 5 seconds where you kind of look and you hear the roar and you see everybody is there with you, no matter what. They want to see you succeed. And that, man, it's just a high like you'll never experience. And honestly, if you're going for PRs, you're trying to set a certain standard, you're going to do way better in that environment than you ever will just by yourself or just alone. It's just a proven thing.
The really cool thing about the gym, Volo Fitness, that it's brand new here to Pittsburgh and they have competitions. So you pay like $20 to enter the competition, but like it is so fun. And for me as a gymnast, I'm like, oh, I'm down. I am there. And I am pushing myself as hard as I can. So they had like different stations. They had the row machine. They had single leg box jumps. They had ball throws or ball tosses. Yeah. And then there was 2 more. And then the last one was the bike. What is that called? The wind bike, the salt bike that I hate so much. Like that's the one that kills me. So like that was at the end, but oh my gosh, like it was just the best feeling of honestly just giving it all you got and seeing what you're made out of. And like doing it with so many other people. It is the best. And it could be the smallest competition. It doesn't matter. You pushed yourself to your maximum capabilities, and you don't know what they are until you do it. So like you said, you don't know your potential until you're there and your adrenaline's rushing and everything. So yeah. Well, and that's why I love that gym too.
Oh yeah. That's the one thing we always tell people is like you'd be surprised how far you can push yourself. And
yes,
for us, like strength training is the central nervous system is one of it's a fight or flight response. It's actually your body's safety to not hurting yourself. And that's where you see people like when they do a deadlift or do some heavy weight, where they start shaking because it's just a nervous system saying like, no, you got to stop. But it's gradual training and constant training where you may think, oh my God, I can't have 740 pounds on my back and walk, 50 feet with that. And then you start lower and then eventually you work your way up to it and you break past that barrier. Mm-hmm. And then you look back and you're like, wow, that took it was just basically grind it out, and it worked, and it took off to where now you actually can do that. And it's actually inspiring to yourself, but you didn't think you could do that.
And
It,
go ahead.
oh no, you go ahead, because I was gonna say something about the assault bike.
That right there transitions into life and how you do life, and like your capability of just taking on more, loving on more people, and doing more things with your time. Like, I think the gym is such a beautiful representation of life, I guess. Just one day in the gym is like, okay, I pushed myself that hard. I could push myself in other areas of my life that hard too. And you don't
Yes.
know your capacity, you don't know your potential until you actually go for it, So,
No, and you're 100% on that, because like, so my routine when I was taking college back in 19 and 20, 5 in the morning, had to get there at 5 in the morning, because just me as a person, kind of knowing my mental limits, if I don't get that workout in, because when I'm going to college, I'm all in it. So it's like, this is my goal. This is the reason why I'm taking this, because I want to put all my effort in here. So the only time I have is in the morning, because I will not be one of those persons. Oh, I'm gonna go after I'm done studying. No, you're not. Not a chance. Because because when I'm home, I want to relax. And actually, Monday is my first day back in class, and that's how the routine is going to be from now on. It's 5 o'clock to 7:30, shower, and then get to class by 8:45. But it is one of those things. Now, for me, on a personal level, I could just see it every day. Like, I'm in there. I was up at 5 o'clock, and yes, I'm in bed by 9. I'm old. I don't care. I don't stay up anymore. I'm not a night owl. Those dates are done.
No.
I
know.
Like, I love sleep.
Your body's just like dead.
Yeah. Sleep is the best PED you could take. Trust me, it's the greatest.
Yes.
It's for recovery and just mental focus. But
I agree.
I could definitely just look around the class where I'm all amped up, and I'm not gonna lie, I was probably the oldest one in the class. It's all these like 18, 20-year-olds. But I'm all amped up. I'm ready to go. And they're looking at me like, what's up with this dude? Like, how is he like just energetic? I mean, those kids are just like melting in their chair, like trying to stay awake. And I'm just ready to go, because it does. First of all, your workout's done. Your endorphins and your body is now alive, because you just pushed it first thing in the morning, and now you don't got to worry about it. It really is stress free. And I mean, because I know for a fact how I used to train. You're sitting there like you're almost dreading going to the gym like later in the day, because it's like that's all you're thinking about, especially when you're addicted to it. You're like, oh, I want to go. I go, oh my God, I gotta get this done. I gotta get this. And sometimes you push it back and you push it back and push it back. And it's like 9 at night. You're like, all right, now it's time to go to the gym. You're like, just get in the morning and do it.
Right. And then you have to work up the energy just to be motivated to go to the gym.
Which is ridiculous. But I tell people all the time, I say, those are the days you make the best progress. Is when you don't want to go, or you're not feeling good, because that's when you're pushing your body and surpassing its limits. And honestly, if you're having that problem, just get in the car, start driving. As soon as you set foot in the gym, you're like, I'm here. And
there's no turning back.
No, because then now you're going to do it regardless. You might not hit the amount of weights or the amount of exercise you want to do in the best way you could, but you're still working. So it's just get out of the way and just do it, man. I'm telling you, it's the gym culture, the strength culture, the fitness culture. If you can get in that, ladies and gentlemen, it'll change your life for the best. I promise you. Hands down, promise you.
I agree. And I try to invite people all the time to go to the gym with me. I'm like, just come in. Two free classes, just come in. Because again, and like, if you want to better yourself, you need to be around people that are bettering themselves. And the gym is probably the best way to do that. Because you're not only helping your health, you're helping your mind, you're helping your heart with connection, with like making new friends. So, I mean, honestly, I can't say enough. The gym
and the most humble people, and the people that will absolutely be willing to help you, are the ones that do go to the gym. I mean, I know people kind of get intimidated by like, oh my God, well, I don't want to sound like an idiot or sound stupid when I ask them a question. Ask those questions, those people that you see that look and shape, that are there all the time, because that's their lifestyle, that's their hobby, and of course you want other people to enjoy the hobby with you as well. So just get out there and you'll meet people that you'll have the best time of your life with. And what I was gonna say earlier is that you said you hate the assault bike.
Oh my God, I hate it.
I just ordered one to have in the house, and it's honestly because I don't have a choice. Believe me, I'm a strength athlete, not a endurance athlete. So it's like the old myth of like, oh, you don't got to do cardio. Bull crap.
You
I
could
got
be pedaling so slow on that thing and still be dying.
right. And the reason why I got it is because you got to work on the heart. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing in your body. I think people don't understand is that cardio is king, hands down. You have
Yeah.
to have a machine. Well, if you want to be the machine, guess what? You got to have the engine that powers it. So you got to have the best working engine, or if you have the best performance, it's that simple. And like you said, you hate it. I'm not a fan of it, but the longevity of doing it is it's just way more beneficial.
Yes,
And
I agree. I know. I like love to hate it.
That's exactly what it is. It's a love-hate relationship. But hey, it's fun. And then you said earlier about hit training is, believe it or not, is that the Marine Corps itself, we used to do the long runs and do like some sort of weight training and whatnot, kind of like your bigger, faster, stronger type of stuff that they used to do. In around 2009 or 10, we actually went to the HIP program. And a lot of people are against it because obviously they're not used to doing something new, but you get better results out of it.
Quicker.
If you can incorporate 1 day of HIT, whatever program it is, and even if you look at like some of these bodybuilders and whatnot, it's like technically they are doing a HIT style of workout. And even some of the strongmen, it's like, we'll do our powerful lifts, and we'll do like, our static where, your max out, but it's like, then your accessories, a lot of guys and a lot of us have really understood that, your HIT training is what's going to keep you going. And it's what's going to build more on top of your static movements and whatnot. So it's something that, like I said, if you've never tried it, it might sound intimidating. Get in there and just try it.
Right. And do the best that you can. Like, no one's going to fault you. Like, you're there. Everyone's applauding you for just being there, Right. So just do the best that you can. Because a lot of people, I think, do get intimidated by the way I work out because I go hard. I go hard, but that's because that's me. That is my capacity. That's where I'm pushing myself. Like, you got to start somewhere. So, and I love the HIIT workouts because they're functional. Like, the movements are functional. And like, for right now, for where I am in life, I don't need to be lifting like super heavy weights. That's not my goal. My goal is to bring in all the groceries on all the bags that I can on my arms and bring them into the house one trip,
One trip.
Like that. One trip.
That's you tell if the gym's, that's you gauge if the gym's working out for you. Groceries one time. That's all you need.
Yeah. Up the stairs. Then it turns into a leg workout.
Right. God, we joked about that one day. We're like, oh, we got to move the stone over this bar. It's like 300 some pounds. We're like, dude, it's literally carrying groceries in from the van. It's like, it's ridiculous. that's what you do. But hey, as you see, we've been talking for about an hour and 7 minutes. And absolutely fantastic time, reconnecting with you and whatnot. And I don't know how much time you had left. If you want to continue talking, if you want to, kind of end it here or whatnot. But one thing I definitely want to do, because this episode was more or less about getting to know you and hearing a point of view from an outside of the normal individual we have on this podcast, where it's about like powerlifting, bodybuilding, strongman, where you have a complete opposite side, especially in the unique side of the gymnastics. Is I would love to have you on here where we could set up where I could just have you on the screen. If you want to walk people through a certain workouts, I mean, you could do it on Instagram, but if you want to do that on here as well, I'd love to have you set up something, have like a certain course you could show them at, and obviously how to get on here. It's easy. You click a button and boom, you're ready to go. So I'll be out of the picture. You can just come on here and be like, hey, this is how you can do something at home. This is how something you can do that's functional. And this is how something you can do that you can do it anywhere. If you're down for that later on. If you're down for that later on.
I would love to share like health and wellness tips or nutritional tips as well. So yeah, I'm totally down with that. And honestly, like where I'm at in life, and like I had a really hard time adjusting to being a stay-at-home mom because I lost my career. I lost the years put into a career. You know what I mean? So like I had a hard time adjusting. And me, I was a go-getter. So like taking a step back, I'm like, who am I? And honestly, I've really stepped into the role of motherhood, and I've stepped into the role of just inspiring other people just by living my life and kind of changing my life. So I'm a big believer in, I guess, not finding your passion, but creating it. And like you're following your passion by doing this, by bringing the community together. And if I could just inspire anyone to like follow their dreams and their passions, then I did my job. If I could inspire somebody to eat healthier or to, be on the program that we have to offer, then I did my job. If I inspired somebody to go to the gym and become a member, I did my job. So honestly, like the influence that we all have on each other is a lot bigger than what we think that it is. So that would be my like just takeaway message is that we all have influence that we don't realize that we have, and the communities that we want to build is there. Just like you want to build this fitness community. I'm not a big manly heavyweight person, like doing heavy weights, but here I am, like just as passionate about fitness as you guys are. And so like the communities are there, and we just need to find them and build our lives on passion and get back to that instead of living our lives in a box and having a one-way track. Instead of like going to school, get a job, have happiness as your foundation.
No, it's absolutely right. Because I started kind of not trending it, but I always just say, you want to inspire, never expire. And it's like you said, you don't know who's watching you. You could like, we'll do presentations or stuff like that and try to get people involved. If you can get one person to change your life, you did your job.
Yeah,
that's
right.
talking about, you don't got to change thousands or millions, one. Because you don't know what somebody's going through, and you might be that spark to where they're going down a dark path to where they listen to you, they've seen you, and they're like, whoop, they make a complete 180, and now they're just going to achieve whatever goals they want to do. And you see that a lot in the fitness community. You really do.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
So the last thing I'm going to ask you, because like I said, I know you're busy, you have everything going on. Like I said, we want to get you back on the show, and an off chat. We'll definitely hook that up for sure. So where do you see yourself going with what you're doing? What's next in line for you, and what's your future looking like when it comes to fitness?
When it comes to fitness, oh boy. Okay, well, right now, my personal business. So like I have my business and then I have my brand. My brand is to inspire, right? Someone just to make those small shifts in their daily lives to make their lives better. Like I just said, like if I can inspire anybody, that's my job. But my business is actually in 6 different countries. So I can expand my personal business with Arbonne in 6 different countries and build worldwide. And we're continuing to expand countries. So like my health and wellness business, I see that getting to be huge. And my number one source of income, because if I can do what I'm doing, I can teach other people how to do what I'm doing easily, using the products, loving the products, sharing the products, and the lifestyle that goes with it. Because you can't just use these healthy living products and not have a healthy living life. So like the lifestyle is what I promote the most because it's me. That's my brand. That's the lifestyle, Right. So I kind of just said where I see myself is if I can inspire one person, that is my job. So that is where I see myself. And I plan on just being that inspiration and being that leader that people look up to, and to just let them know that they have this too. I'm not anything special. All I've done, I really not, all I've done is dove deep into like self-development and do what I love. I love fitness. I love healthy living, and I continue to learn. Like, what more do you really need, to live a happy life? Just do things that you love.
No, it's the best. You can actually find a passion and make a career out of it. Because then,
right,
like I said, actually, because then every day you go to work, it's not work, it's not a job. It's
right.
It's just a good time. But hey, absolute pleasure, and finally reconnecting with you. God,
yes, absolutely.
I think the last time I saw you was 2002. Honestly, I really think that was. And just seeing where you've gone, where you started from, and where you're going, and my God, girl, just keep doing your thing. Seriously, I mean, it's awesome. It is inspiring. And if you get a chance, check her out on Instagram. Instagram's the only thing you have, pretty much your social media.
For right
That's
now.
where your business is. Amanda_FitFranceFam. Go there, and like I said, she posts all kinds of personal videos and pictures, and oh, that's not the picture of you when you made your bad decisions in college, is it? Is it?
Go
really?
Watch it.
Go
watch it. You're gonna be like, oh my god.
Hey,
so when you look at that thing, beer, pasta, pizza.
Oh my god! Like, that's Well, that's amazing. People, you gotta go look at it. It's amazing to see the transition. And again, it's not shaming or that. It's just saying what happened, what decisions you made do affect the way you go, but you could always come back.
Yes.
Always fix that. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think too many times people kind of get wrapped in this loop in their head where it's like, oh, there's no way I can get back into it. Yes, you can. One of the most inspiring things that I've seen, real quick, is we had a strongman competition where they're lifting a solid steel axle bar, and pretty much you have 3 attempts, put as much weight as you can on. And we did over there called Hope for the Holidays, which is an event that we do in the strongman community to gather all the toys and give to needy kids. We actually do that, believe it or not, just like Toys for Tots. 65-year-old man, 65-year-old man. Deadlifted 650 pounds. I mean, all of us were just like, and there was no like stutter or jerky. He just went down, stood up, put it back down. I mean, we're like, that dude could have done like 100 more pounds, and he just like, oh, okay. And we're like, get the hell out of here! Like, you talk about inspiring, you're like, and he goes, yeah, I just started lifting maybe about 5 years ago, and we're like,
oh my gosh, that's
like,
amazing.
So at 60 years old, you just got in this. I mean, he was now, don't get me wrong, he was more of a marathon runner, like he was like into that, but the strength stuff, he's like, yeah, just on the joints and the knees, it just kind of hurts. So I want to do something, so I got into to lifting, and I mean,
wow,
like all of our jaws, like it was like, I think it was maybe 200 people were all like this.
Wow, that is amazing.
like that
That's
was
inspiring.
Oh yeah, it is. But hey, again, thank you so much for being on the show. Again, follow on Instagram. Like I said, Amanda_Fit France Fam. And definitely want to get you back on here because I think it'd be awesome that you can showcase some of the stuff that you do. Give kind of people like workouts, and as you said, you're a stay-at-home mom, but you still continue to do the fitness level. You have a beautiful family with your husband and your 3 kids. And again, been way too long so we'd be able to touch and reconnect with each other. So hey, here you are.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Amanda, you take care, and we'll see y'all later. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.